Yeah. I'd like to call the meeting of the Town Council of Wausau to order. Would you please stand for the invocation? And you may stand for the pledge of allegiance, and here's the flag to my right. Our invocation tonight is given by Reverend Tony Hagan, who's the pastor of the bridge on Highway 77 south of town. And he has the distinction of being my only nephew that's here tonight. Brother Hagan, if you'll lead us, and then you're welcome to stay with us as long as you'd like to.
Father, we love you tonight. We thank you. God, James tells us, Father God, if any man lack wisdom, God, if he would not withhold it, but give it. God, we ask tonight that the council here, Father God, would follow in your footsteps. Walk in wisdom. Allow the Spirit, Father God, to lead them and guide them in all things they do, Father. We ask for us to have ears to hear, eyes to understand, God. We give you praise and glory. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Salute. Pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Y'all hear how good that sounded tonight?
Very good.
Yeah, a lot of force. Yeah. It sounds good. Has everybody got a green light and got our microphones on? All right. Is there anyone in the audience who wants to address the audience that either is not on the agenda or hasn't signed in? And if you want to speak and you're on the agenda, we have a sign-in sheet, and please use that so we'll have a record for our minutes.
All right.
Yes.
Barbara Rich.
You want to speak to the
Yeah, I just
council?
want to say hello to everybody.
If you will just sign in here, we'll be that for now in just a few minutes.
We got you, Brandon.
Yeah, you're one of those. Cool.
No subject in particular.
Okay, you have a consent order, which includes the approval of the agenda, the minutes, the financials, and the Easter parade. And my question is, no February minutes for the workshop, the regular meeting, or the special meeting.
Not yet. My computer's been down for 2 weeks now.
I didn't have them in here, but I had January.
Yeah, January.
I was making
I didn't
sure
get them done.
that I didn't miss them. So we're only doing January.
We're only doing January right now.
What's the pleasure of the board concerning the consent agenda, including, or do you want to pull off some item and speak to it by itself?
I'll make a motion to accept it.
All items.
Second.
We have a motion and a second that we approve all items. Any discussion on the motion? Hey, Mr. Carter?
Yes.
Mr. Moore? Yes. Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Yeah. And the chair votes yes. We'll call time out just a moment. Years ago, we had zones or seats or something like that. We don't have that anymore, do we?
Y'all are excited to see.
Okay.
Just for
I'm
the
thinking,
poster road, post 1, 2, and 3.
I'm thinking for the benefit of all of us, for all of you, that when we do the roll call, I try to start with the person who made the motion or either do some kind of rotation. But if we had a couple of folks where they have like districts or something like that, that went through, and if we had us a number, we could actually let Margaret, because I don't want it to appear that I vote last to see how everybody else voted. So I can vote first if you do sometime, whatever. I just, something for us to think about. Okay, call time in now, we'll go ahead. All right, our SWAT team is here tonight. Mr.
Milton Brown and Miss Haley Sapp. We're here from the Health Department and in partnership with the Washington County School System. And we always just, we didn't come with an ask or anything today. We just wanted to come and update you on what the programs have been doing. Ms. Sapp is gonna talk a little bit about SWAT, and then I'll tell you about another program that we've been doing that's turned out to be pretty successful with the school system.
So for SWAT, right over here, we did Not a Lab Rat Day. It's a day where the kids talk to their peers and tell them to not vape, not to give into big tobacco's lies. And we made a display of scarecrows that was affected by secondhand smoke, vaping, chew, peer pressure, and a tobacco executive. And right over here is Through with Chew Week. This was one of our recent ones where we went to RMS and we held a little activity day where we had the students question their peers about smokeless tobacco. They had trivial questions, they had tic-tac-toe, they had a Plinko where they would choose their prize, and then they would have to answer 5 questions to get that prize. And then we had unscramble the sentences, where it was facts about how smokeless tobacco can be harmful to you. And then there was another section where it was just answering questions. And then down here was the Great American Smokeout. We went to the Piggly Wiggly in Chipley, and we had our SWAT kids talk to a lot of adults who actually took cessation material, and they were gonna try and quit for a day. And if they felt better within that day, they can keep trying, pushing to another day and another day. And we provided them with cessation materials, quit your way materials, and little mints, toothpicks that will help chase away the need to smoke and to chase away the need to have chewing tobacco. Up here we have our TAC presentation, which is one of the big deals that we had this year. We presented a mock bedroom that we're presenting tomorrow in Holmes County, where the mock bedroom is where we hide vapes to educate teachers and parents what a vape actually is. So we hid 18 vapes within this room. It simulates a teenager room. And we had them go through and look. And keep in mind, these people they know what they were looking for. They were the Tobacco Free Bureau Council, and we had the head of surgeons, the governor, the senator, I believe.
There's 2 senators, 2 state legislators, an appointee by the governor, a representative from every medical school within the state of Florida was there, and that was on the tobacco partnership, statewide partnership that this was presented to.
And they found all the vapes except for one, which is a new one, according to us, a vape hoodie. It had a vape tucked away in the hoodie, and they had the string to where they can just suck in on the string, and then they can just vape, what's the word? Discreetly.
Yeah.
And so we have also the escape room. This is more targeted to kids. They will go through, solve problems that dealt with tobacco. And we had a lot of feedback with the kids. They loved it. We went there for one day, and we just kept having kids come in and out. And they were all excited. We had a little storyline where they were trying to save a football player who vaped, and they were trying to figure out what caused him to vape, what was going on with his lungs. And the kids had really a lot of fun with this, and we had the Tobacco Advisory Council actually go through that, and they're like, oh man, we need to get this everywhere. And so they're actually funding us to make 2 trailers, kind of like the drunk driving course where they go to school and the kids get to go through that. We're going to try and do that sometimes next year.
Let me add on to that. That program was actually created by Washington County students and staff. They presented it to the statewide tobacco leadership there in Tallahassee. They liked it so much till they are funding it. Like she said, like a program like the drunk driving simulators you see that go to schools and all the students do. So we're very proud of the fact that was actually started here in Washington County, and they are excited about taking it statewide. You've heard her mention a lot about vaping. I heard a stat yesterday by a local official who said they can't remember the last time they saw a kid in school with a cigarette, and they said right now it's all about vaping, and they think it's innocent, they think it's harmless, and of course we're finding out more and more every day the things that happens with that. But the thing is, like she stated, and what the purpose of this mock bedroom is, they look like a thumb drive. We have professionals in professional meetings and all who look at them and they look like thumb drives. They look like other devices. There's actually some watches now that actually work but you can vape with them. Cell phone chargers that actually work, that have a vape device. The hoodie she was talking about, kids can wear this hoodie with a string, and we've all seen kids who sit there and on the little hoodie string, and they can vape using that hoodie string in the sky. So we've obviously got a problem. Kids are actually truly being addicted, and that's what we're trying to do, is expose it. One of the programs just came online is they actually got a prevention program that's just starting, a cessation class, just like adult cessation classes for smoking. They just put that online, or are getting it started, cessation classes for youth who are vaping. So we're excited about that. And so that's what Washington County has been doing. It's something that we're excited about, especially the hidden bedroom and all that they're talking about taking statewide. And these are local students who are involved. She mentioned I guess scarecrows that was in school. All that was created by students. They did all that in prevention. So she just wanted to update you on that. And then there's another program I'll tell you about in just a minute. Does anybody have any questions about the tobacco program and the vape prevention programs that's going on? Well, next we'd like to just update you on the program. This is a new program. We had don't go anywhere because I'm going to talk about you. But this is a new program that we actually started called GLAM, Girls Leadership Academy and Mentoring. And we know there's programs out there. We know that there's some discrepancies as far as when men and women do the same job. Sometimes the pay isn't quite the same, and that's the way it is. So what we were asked to tasked by the state and by the CDC is come up with programs to maybe help young ladies prepare for business, not everybody goes to college. We know the percentages locally here, but prepare, whether it's starting their own business, whether it's going into a technical field. And that's what we've done with GLAM. It's Girl Leadership Academy and Mentoring. We partner leaders and mentors up with them. One of the ladies who is the mayor of Chipley, Miss Andrews, some of you know her, Tracy Andrews. She's one of our leaders. We have others who own leaders in banking, own their own business, whether that's in, one of them is a realtor, and they come out, they talk to the young ladies, they talk to them about how to dress for success. They talk to them about resume building. What do you do to build a resume? We actually have a day that we kick off the program in which they come out. We have several speakers. We were able to get a speaker last year, Miss Tanya Anderson. A lot of times we know how it is. I come from Little Ebro, but we sometimes come from places and we say, well, I come from a small town, I can't accomplish anything. So we like to get people from areas like this and can tell them. Tanya P. Anderson graduated from Vernon High School. She is actually now a Georgia state senator. And she's one of the leaders there in Georgia. And she was excited about talking to the young ladies. She has a military career behind them and told them that they can succeed. So to have someone like that to be able to speak to them, we were excited about that. Not only on the resume, but we had, on that kickoff, we had Mr. Paul Golden, who was nice enough to give us some of his time, take professional headshots of the young ladies, and able to take professional headshots, something they can use on their resume. We had the styling station, the hair salon, come and actually work with the young ladies, get them, not give them this big makeover, but get them prepped for that photo. We teach them about goal setting, budget setting. We learned very quickly that what I think we need to teach the girls might not be what they need to know, because we were saying, okay, we need to teach them about finances and this. And one of them said, they were talking and said, we want to know, do you just walk into the bank and ask for help? We want to know, what do you do? Will they help you when you walk in the bank? So we said, okay, we have to listen to the young ladies. So now we will take suggestions from them. What do you want to know? What do you need to learn? And so we take suggestions from them. As you see the mayor speaking there, many other pictures. We just took them Wednesday a week ago over to Florida State University, Florida A&M University. They got to tour the Capitol when it was in session to see some of our state representatives and all in action. I can tell you this, I know some of the young ladies personally and I know some backgrounds, but to see the light bulb go off in their head when they're there at the college and they literally, you see it like, I could be here. I actually can do this. For the first time in their life, they're looking, thinking, I can do this. It's a program, like I said, that started in Washington County. The CDC, the state presented what we had done to them. They funded it, and now are trying to we're going to make a presentation statewide in Orlando this coming June, because they want to expand what we're doing statewide. right here from Washington County. So, and let me end this little part here by saying that Miss Haley Sapp was actually in one of our first graduating classes. She graduated a year ago in our kind of our pilot program. We were able to hire her. The Chipola One Stop now is asking us what can we do as far as placement of other young ladies, so we're working with them. So I think she's kind of like one of our success stories to show what young people can do when you present and give them the information that they need. And these are young people from local communities that we're excited to help. So that's the GLAM program that's going on. But we just wanted to update y'all on this, not ask for anything, but just let you know what's going on in the communities. Any questions or anything from anybody?
Sounds good.
We hope to expand it. Right now, we did it in Washington County because our grant covers Holmes and Washington. We're going to do the Holmes County version. We'll be starting next school term, so we're taking applications over there now. And we've actually got people in Jackson County saying, when can we get it over here? When can we get it there? And so we are very, very happy about what this has accomplished so far and what it's doing. So. And thank y'all for letting us come and update you in this, with our programs. And I appreciate Ms. Sapp coming with me, or me coming with her, I guess.
Anybody have a question for Mr. Brown or Ms. Sapp? And I didn't quite get through with the introduction. Those of you who don't know Mr. Brown, he is a member of the school board for Washington County, represents District 3.
Yes.
And we're always glad to see you come and give us an update every year on the.
Well, we love coming here and working with y'all. I can promise you that's something our leadership notices and said. They always say we want to keep Wausau updated. Y'all always have a good reception for it. We do appreciate
We'd like
it.
to win Washington County's leader, so can I offer you a challenge? When did SWAT begin?
That's a good challenge. I don't know. I know it. I have 2 daughters and 2 sons, and it's probably
Let's do this. Here's the challenge.
yes.
Why don't we start SWAT? Students working against alcohol.
I think that would be
You talk about the drunk driving
Yeah.
thing that you go around.
simulator. Yeah.
The simulator, you see that all over the place. You see it down in Bay County particularly. And I will tell you that alcohol was taking more young people's lives, probably than cigarettes did, immediately.
I can tell you, I don't know that we have any local chapters, but just like MAD, Mothers Against Drunk Drivers, and then there was fathers, and then I think there was SAD, which was Students Against Drunk Driving. So I don't know if one is here, but I will check into it.
That would be a good thing. We
Yes, sir. I
passed
agree
a church
100%.
over in Holmes County 20 years ago, or longer now, and it was 3 or 4 years on the road that from 1 to 3 students was killed in automobile accidents on either prom night or graduation night.
I can tell you, it's one of those nights that you hold your breath, and me, as some of you might know me and my law enforcement background with highway patrol, I know of too many cases where, and I don't know of any other way of saying it other than useless, the lives being taken and just seeing that by alcohol. So I would agree with you 100%. All right.
Something for you to think about.
Yes, sir.
I got a question.
Yes, ma'am.
If you have, I got a daughter that was in that like 4 years ago that went to Vernon. Now she's in the Christian school at Chipley. Is there a sign up or something for her to get in?
We actually sent some applications out there. What we will do, if you know somebody's interested in there, you can have them get up with me. My actual cell phone number is if you look at the school board site or whatever, they can get up with Milton Brown anyway, and I will get them the application. Any Washington County student who hasn't graduated yet is available. Is actually eligible, I should say. And so we would love to have them. Homeschool any students. In fact, we do have homeschool students attending right now.
And I'd also like to say that we're starting our tobacco surveys. We're going to each store that sells tobacco, and we're just gathering the information of what they're selling, the prices, and who they're selling to. And recently, I've noticed that a lot of places do not have a week card, or they're just not asking for an ID anymore. There was this one where this lady had said, "Oh, I know you. I'm not gonna ID you though."
That was Holmes County, I think.
Yep, I was doing surveys with one of my coworkers in Holmes County, and this girl walks in. She's obviously over 21, but she didn't have her ID on her, and this lady says she doesn't have her ID. I didn't let her buy anything even though I know her because you guys were there, but if it was any other time, she would have done it anyways. And so we're just trying to stop that
And I know
by doing these surveys. And
we
making
talked with
notes.
y'all about a year ago about tobacco licensing in local stores and all. Believe it or not, since that time, the state has passed legislation saying that cities and counties cannot pass any tobacco ordinances and legislation that is stricter than the state law. Which surprised us, but.
Mr. Brown, you don't have to wait a year to come back.
We will not. We will not, sir. Thank y'all for letting us come, and we appreciate it. And y'all are always good to us.
Thank you for coming.
Thank y'all very much. Thank y'all.
Mr. John Shepherd. Thank you. Aflac Insurance Proposal.
Hey folks, I'm John Shepherd. Thank you so much for giving me a little bit of an opportunity to talk to you tonight. Now, this is my very pleasant second meeting with the town council in the last week. We went to Jacob City last week and did a town council meeting with them. They decided to go ahead and offer Aflac to their employees, but that's not what's pleasant for me. When I walked in, I saw the quilt over there. I saw In God We Trust. They opened with a prayer and a pledge of allegiance, and I just thank God we live in the Bible Belt, because there's a lot of awful places out there, and I love small towns. I grew up in them. In fact, my dad was a Methodist pastor when I was growing up, and we were down around Mobile. But the town I lived in was so small, we had to go to the next town for me to be born. And I was born in a house that was converted into a hospital. So I just love the camaraderie you guys have here. I'm sad that the anti-homework delegation left. I wanted to hear what they had to say, but it was nice to see everybody here. So basically what I wanted to talk about was taking the opportunity to talk to you guys about becoming a conduit for the city employees to purchase Aflac through payroll deduction. There are a lot of advantages to it for the employee. There's also a lot of advantages to it for the town, because it helps you attract and retain more employees. Now, I talked to Ms. Margaret a few minutes ago. She said the town very generously provides major medical insurance. That's great. Gives them an opportunity for a 401k plan. So major medical is designed to pay doctors and hospitals, okay? And it's a great, great thing to have, no question about it. Aflac does not care anything about paying doctors and hospitals. What we want to do is we want to get money into the employees or the policyholders' hands. Because a lot of times when somebody's hurt or sick, they're not working as much, they may not be working at all, but they've still got their everyday bills to pay. You got to pay the power bill, water bill, house payment, car payment, all of those things. So Aflac cannot cure cancer, we can't heal a broken bone, but our policies can help take that financial burden off people, so it gives them one less thing to worry about when they're trying to get better and get back to work, okay? So the way Aflac works is the town would simply become a conduit for them to get access to more policies at better rates than they could on a direct basis. We do have some things that we sell on a direct basis, but it's a lot better deal for the policyholder through payroll. But at the same time, I did want to emphasize how it does help the employees. It helps the town people, because now the mayor and everybody else will know that if somebody does get hurt, if somebody does get sick, and they're not drawing a paycheck from the town, Aflac's giving them some money so they can survive and get back to work. I don't really want to talk about the policies that we have. I mean, they're pretty simple. We got life, we got short-term disability. I know you have workers' comp for the employees if they get hurt on the job and can't work. Workers' comp is going to pay them some money, about 50% of their wages, until they're able to come back to work. So it doesn't help for an off-the-job injury or a sickness. That's what our short-term disability policy does. Mr. Milton and Ms. Sapp were talking about smoking. One of our most popular products is cancer, because so many people experience that, and you don't even have to smoke anymore to get it, and there's no difference between the smoker rates and non-smoker rates. So I have an agent that's come down here and tried to offer Aflac, or tried to get into offering Aflac. And we had the same reaction that we have from a lot of businesses. They want to ask the employees first if they want to do Aflac. And what the employee hears is insurance. And then they think about major medical. And they think about, oh my God, I can't afford that. It's because they don't understand what is going on. So whenever an employer wants to poll employees, we tell them that we can't let them do it because they're not licensed insurance agents. Our method of operation is to ask some questions up front. We want to find out about the person's needs. Some families have a history of cancer, some have a history of heart attack, stroke, that kind of stuff. Some people have 4 kids like Mr. Milton does. I talked to him about an accident policy before anything else. But anyway, we ask those questions up front so that we make sure that we're fitting their needs first. Because we don't want to put a heart attack policy on somebody that's 18. The next thing that we do that is even more important is to make sure that it fits their budget. We get really nervous if people want to spend more than about an hour or an hour and a half worth of wages each week on Aflac. And we break it down if they're a salary versus a good touch point for a comparison of the value of what they're getting for the price they're paying. All right, so I've given you quite a bit so far. Any questions so far?
That's American Family Life Insurance. Don't you think that we're, you know, we have advertisements all over the place for insurance. We have it on television. That ain't nothing to it, okay? I mean, I thank you for coming, but I think we're smart enough that if we want insurance, we know who to call and get it. Maybe I'm dumb by saying that.
No, not at all. Not at all.
But,
One of the examples I give you, Mr. Washington, is...
no, Walsingham.
Sorry?
That's okay, Walsingham, okay?
Washington. I'm so sorry.
Well, that's okay, I don't.
My ears aren't very good, Mr. Washington, and my eyes aren't either.
Okay, mine ain't either, okay?
Yes. But anyway, a lot of times people, if they're hurt or sick and cannot draw a paycheck because they're unable to work.
You get disability insurance, okay?
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And the only way that I can get them disability insurance is if it goes through a payroll account. And the reason for that.
Yeah, well, I understand all that.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I do. Okay, I'm sorry.
No, I love the discussion.
Okay.
I love the discussion. It gives me a chance to talk.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So anyway, disability has to be purchased through a person's own work. So let me give you an example. Let's say Miss Margaret works here at town, okay?
Yeah.
So she's not at risk, a big risk for an injury on the job. But if her husband works in a coal mine somewhere, he's at a big risk of injury on the job. And that's why if he wanted to get a policy that would protect his paycheck, a disability policy, he would have to go through his company because it would be a lot higher rate than it would be from this company.
Yeah.
So that's the only conduit that we have to offer somebody the short-term disability policy, which to me is great because it's a great catch-all. We've got a great cancer policy, heart attack policy, all that kind of stuff, but disability is a wonderful catch-all because it doesn't matter why the person's out of work. If they got hurt and can't work, if they got cancer and can't work, if they have a heart attack and can't work.
I understand all of that.
All right,
Okay.
so the question would be, do we want to allow them an opportunity to do it through payroll reduction? And the way our payroll reduction works is kind of strange.
I know that too, but you maybe go ahead, I'm sorry.
Well, that's fine. We're a little bit unusual because at the beginning of each month, the premium has to be paid for major medical. Whether it's Blue Cross Blue Shield or another major medical provider, that money has to be paid before the policy is effective.
Sure.
The way Aflac works is, we do not want any money from a business or an organization unless they get that money out of the employee's paycheck. So how it works is, hypothetically, we started the plan April 1st, we'd enroll the employees in the products they chose. The town would then just have to make deductions for April, and that bill is not due until May 15th. So that way, there's no risk to the town. There's a couple other things that we can do as well. Pre-tax plans, we handle that stuff too. And people can save a little bit of money. They don't have to have taxes taken out for policies they purchase like cancer, accident, that kind of stuff. Life and short-term disability are after tax, but it helps the town out as well. It reduces the tax liability of the town somewhat too. But the best thing about it is it gives the employees an opportunity to get something that will help them determine their financial future without a whole lot of money being spent. Okay?
Yeah.
It's not an investment, it's something that they have just in case something happens.
Okay.
So the result of that is that our policies are very inexpensive, and as I said previously, we get nervous if somebody wants to spend more than about an hour and a half worth of wages, because the last thing we want is an Aflac policyholder complaining to the payroll clerk about how much this darn Aflac is costing. I've been doing this 22 years. I handle my clients very carefully because I want them to get what they need at a price that they can afford, and then when they need help, I'm there for them. Aflac's got 50 million policyholders, but my agent that's going to handle the account, if we get it, lives in Sunnyside. I live in Dothan. Any questions anyone has about their policy coverage, claims, anything like that, they call us instead of getting in line with the other 50 million policyholders at the 800 number. We don't want that happening. Any other questions?
Any questions? I think what you've said to us is that you would like to you'd like to meet the employees, offer them the opportunity if we will agree to do payroll reduction.
That is correct, sir.
How hard is that to do?
Now, the procedure is this. We make a phone call to headquarters to establish any organization, any business, any town as an eligible account. And all that means is that there are at least 3 employees. I know the town of Wausau has that.
Yeah.
So that would make them eligible. And then we would set up a group number for the town. The next step would be up to the agents. We would have to talk to each person that's employed here, assess their needs, offer them some products to fit those needs. If they like it, they can purchase it, but we got to find at least 3 of them. If we don't get at least 3 people to agree, the town is under no obligation whatsoever. But if we do get 3 to agree to it, and that wants to do that, like we just asked them to make payroll reduction, send the money in the following week.
Yeah.
Payroll reduction, are we doing any payroll reduction now? We do that now, so we're not, it's just another slot, another. Yeah, I think what Mr. Shepherd is asking is for us to grant him permission to meet with our employees, probably set up a date and a time, and they come in and talk,
Yes.
and at the end of the day, if you've got 3,
Right.
you would offer, if you didn't,
If we did, we'd say thank, we would be very surprised and we would say thank you very much. Because people really do like Aflac. Honestly, this is the most difficult part of it because you guys are naturally cautious about things that you do as a town. So the most difficult part for us always is to get past the business owner or past the council or past whoever's deciding. Once we get to the people that we're talking to, we'll sell 6 or 7 out of every 10. And it's not because we're great salespeople, it's because our products are low priced, they're very practical, and they really take care of people.
Yeah.
is that insurance available to elected officers?
Yes, sir.
Could we?
Yeah, we, for example, and I've got the town of Rehoboth up where I live in Dothan. So we have a town council that gets paid once a month. So they participate just like the employees of the town that are paid bi-weekly. So we quote people based on the way that they're paid. So if we were selling to you, it would be a monthly quote. I'm assuming you guys are paid once a month. For the town, what is it, Mark? Bi-weekly? Weekly. So we would quote them weekly. Okay? And then the invoices are set up so that it works out just right with the deductions and the bill. So money's not sent until a month after.
And what he's talking about is an income replacement. That's basically replace the lost income when they're not extra weight.
I already have Aflac through where I work at.
Yes, ma'am.
I have Washington County Council on Aging. I have a short-term policy.
Tammy's your agent. And
Yeah.
you must know me probably as well.
Yeah, I seen you up there.
Yeah, I haven't seen Michael in a while. I always enjoy him. But anyway, that's a good example. I mean, Washington County Council on Aging, we've also got Holmes County Council on Aging, we've got a bunch of accounts. In fact, in the last 7 days, it's not to brag, it's just because my team's been out working to open 7 new groups. Because there's really a low risk for the company or the organization, and I think that Ms. Carol West would agree that it's a helpful thing to have. So some of our policies have wellness benefits. Our cancer policy, for example, is the smallest benefit of the policy, but it's the most important because it encourages people to get a cancer screening done. So it used to be when somebody was diagnosed with cancer, they'd ask the doctor how long they had left. But these days, more than 95% of them are treatable. But the key to it is early detection, so we can do it. Now, what we would need to do is, I suppose we would designate Ms. Margaret as the administrator, so to speak. So we get on the phone with her to headquarters, get the information about the town, get everything set up, and then that would give us the ability to speak to the employees. So at that way, if they said yes, we'd be ready to go. Now, if we don't have 3, we thank you for letting us come in. Okay?
I personally don't object to him offering the insurance.
No,
There's
no.
No obligation on the part of the
No,
employee to
no.
take it or.
I did that for a
anything like that.
living,
Just,
that's how I made my living.
He
and
said-
I-
Oh, you did, Mr. John?
Yeah, I understand right where you're coming from, okay? And it's a good thing, okay, it's good.
Were you a New York Life guy? Was it a property and casualty or accident?
No, we're living in Nashville.
All right, good.
But that, you do it good, it's a good thing, it's a good service, but somehow try to get them people that come on television and lying, telling all them lies, you know?
I never knew I would be in sales. I was in the Navy, my dad was a pastor growing up in the Navy, went into manufacturing, and I always thought of a salesperson as being somebody like a used car guy, twisting your arm, lying to you, all that kind of stuff. But Mr. John, you know this is a fact. Insurance agents are concerned with taking care of their policy.
They should be, I'll put it that way.
Well, if they aren't, they're not going to be in business.
No, they don't
I
last
guarantee you.
long, I
So
tell you
I
that.
never knew I'd be doing this, but it makes me feel very good in church.
Yeah, well, good, I mean, that's
Thank you,
great,
Tom.
you're doing a good service to people, that's right, okay.
All I want to do is get that Medicare policy, when they pick up Joe Namath, they'll run the house. And pick me up, we'll ride down to the, what's the pleasure of council? For Mr. Shepherd or for his group to talk to our employees.
I make a motion for him to be able to talk to them.
Yeah, well, sure.
We have a motion, and second, any discussion on the motion? Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Wolfson? Chair votes yes. Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Well, listen, thank you so much for that, but thank you also for the prayer and the pledge of allegiance, man, that we did all over the country, we'd be in a lot better shape with it.
Yeah, indeed.
Well, I appreciate y'all's time this morning. What I'll do is I'll have Tammy call and set up a time for you. The call will take about 15 minutes, and then she's close enough to be in local that everybody doesn't have to be here that day.
That's good.
And we're always going up and down the road, and we can see one person a day at a time. It doesn't matter to us, but we'll get you taken care of. And thank you so much, folks. We appreciate it.
Thank you for
Thank you,
coming.
Ms. Carroll.
You're welcome.
Mr. Washington, appreciate it.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet y'all. Y'all have a great day. And I'm gonna ride up back the road, but I have to tell you, I got a picture of the quilt over here when I walked in. I just felt like the whole town was friends.
Yep.
And I love small towns. I
That's
really
us,
do.
that's us.
But live in Dothan, and we made sure we moved to a place where my little girl could go to Rehoboth. I didn't want her in the thug schools over there, but she's doing great. She's going to graduate next year, and I don't know how she did it. She's never made a B. Her daddy sure wasn't like that. Y'all have a great evening, and I'll have Tammy call you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you. I'm going to deviate from the agenda just for a moment. Brandon's here, and he was not on the agenda. He needed to talk to us, so he may need to be someplace else. Brandon, you go ahead.
So, I won't take up a whole lot of your time. I just, the couple things that I came here with today is I would like to start a couple fundraisers for the rec department. We've talked about doing a car wash in front of your pretty new firehouse over here. And we would also like to do a 50-50 raffle. You're familiar with the concept? Right.
Yeah, Steve did that, yeah.
All right, so other than that, I want to make sure that I'm covering all the bases that you expect me to be covering at this point. We got 2 T-ball teams, a 7 and 8 coach pitch team, a 9-10 girls softball team, and an ozone team that are practicing actively as we speak. We're waiting on a game schedule, so all of that is going on. Two things, I guess, that I wanted to ask about was the parade. After we met last time, we left with the intention of me coming back to you today with an answer on whether or not we could do the parade. After that, though, I talked to Rebecca and Michael, and she left me under the impression that the fire department was over the parade and the Easter egg hunt thing, and that they had voted not to do the parade. So I have zero clarity on that as we sit right now.
No parade. We don't have time.
That clarified that. There's not going to be a
All
parade.
right, no parade.
Egg
And the
hunt's
fire
on.
department's doing the egg hunt?
Egg hunt's on. And Rex participating with the egg hunt too.
Okay, so who is my point of contact then to find out what they need from me?
Probably Rebecca, yeah. Or Adam Smith, Rebecca Owens.
I'm not familiar with Adam Smith, but
I'll
I
get you
know
some
Rebecca and
contact.
Michael. Okay. So, other than that, the one other thing that I had a question about was, it might have also been Rebecca and Michael that I heard from about a hesitancy about the concession stand this year. Is that a thing, or are we good to go on that?
You're good to go.
All right, well, so unless you guys have something specific for me, like I said, if there's something that I should be looking at that I'm not looking at right now, then we're cruising right along as far as I'm concerned.
Anybody on the council, if Brandon or anything? My concern is, Brandon, first of all, I appreciate you coming in here and asking about this. I can't say enough good about the things that Steve did do, but 2 or 3 times he and I talked privately, and I don't think he'd mind me sharing this because it was not heat or anything, but it's kind of like he took ownership of that. Liabilities laid up here.
Yes, sir.
Whether it's recreational liabilities, injuries, things like that, equipment, facilities, fire department liabilities are all up here. You don't need to be getting any information or directions from Michael and Rebecca. It needs to come from here. If we're not gathered together like we are tonight as a group, it needs to come from Margaret, and you don't work for them, you work for the council.
Yes, sir.
So
So I wanted to clarify before.
Any clarification or we need better cooperation. I don't know how we're gonna address this, but we need better cooperation with all the entities that have anything to do with the Garden Club, Fire Department, Development Club, Recreation Department, all like that. So I appreciate that. Now, I for one have never been a fan of raffles. Kind of borders maybe a little bit on gambling, but that's, we've done it before. I do appreciate you coming and telling us what your plans was and asking about the car wash and things like that. I hate to be uninformed. I hate to be taken by surprise when somebody says, what y'all doing about so-and-so, or what y'all let, and I didn't know that you were doing it.
Yes, sir.
I don't want that to happen. If I could help, I don't think any of them do. I think we need to know what our departments are doing.
Yes, sir.
I want you to run the department. I don't want to tell you what to do down there, but I do appreciate you being here tonight to let us know what you plan to do.
Yes, sir.
Anybody want to, if I was out of line, I'm open to you to say that.
I agree with you. You don't need to be listening to me and everybody else.
Exactly.
If you'll come in, I'll tell you what, I've got your concession box, I've got your cards that you need to get your supplies with. If you can't get them, we'll make arrangements to get them for you. I know you work and you have a family. But as far as I know, everything's a go. And I do know that, and they may not have let you know about it, but I do know that the development club and the fire department stuffed eggs last Monday night for, no telling how long. But they got 5,000 eggs stuffed but they usually do hot dogs and chips and drinks like that. But if you'll get with the development club, the fire department, Adam, you'll get some good information there on where you need to be at on Easter egg hunt.
If you do you have a contact for each of those groups?
Yes.
Would you please make some contact? Brandon's new, he may not know our people, he don't live in the community, he hasn't been here. He may not know just because we call a name. And would you please tell those people that he is our recreation director and he wants to be involved and we want him to be involved? And see if they will reach out and let's come together.
Yeah, I already got it on there.
That's where I'm getting hot dogs and offers.
Oh, you get Waste Management usually does. And they gotta be out. Waste Management will donate you those hot dogs, buns, drinks, chips, and I got a contact for you to contact for that Easter egg hunt. You get them, they'll go pick them up, they'll bring them to you to be able to do it there. Usually the concession stand, they provide the hamburgers, not the hot dogs, chips and drinks,
Just for events or period, like for the
No,
season?
for the egg hunt, this is just for the egg hunt. Now, when your banquet comes along for the end of the season banquet, Waste Management will come back in again, and they'll
Waste Management.
furnish your meal for that banquet. They're very good to us.
How I know you need to run, how are things in your first month? Are sign-ups over and we're ready to play?
Sign-ups are over for the most part. We still could take a couple 7, 8-year-olds probably if y'all got some laying around. But other than that though, we're closed the registration. I turned in our teams to the district director earlier this week. We're waiting on schedules. We have a solid practice schedule going, a rotation. If it'll stop raining for our T-ball and 7, 8 practice days, they'll be able to get some work in. But it has rained every one of their scheduled days since I made the schedule. I don't know what I can do about that. But we are, I think we're in pretty good shape for the most part. Like I said, I've been waiting to talk to you guys because of some mixed information that I was getting about the concession stand and whatnot.
I don't enforce that one. I don't really know. I'm going to be honest with you. Yeah. You're right. We don't. We don't because I had forgotten which one of us. Can I? Yeah, go ahead. Mr. Walksnaham is liaison to recreation. We all do something. Mm-hmm. We're not bosses, but if you need something and you can't get a hold of Margaret, I don't know why, but if you can't get a hold of Margaret, you get a hold of John or any one of us, and we'll get a meeting call or something like that. We want you to do good, exactly. and we want to work back with you as well as we want you to work with us. Mr. Walksnaham is liaison, mostly in town about every day, so he would be easy to get to, and then he could probably get Margaret or the rest of us if we needed to meet him. So.
Yes, sir.
And right now, including you, we're working with 4 new employees. You know, they're not all familiar with what
Yeah.
it is now.
Yeah.
You know.
Yes, sir.
You'll find that, and I'd like to say this, you'll find that working together, you know, that's the only thing you get anything done. You don't go out and listen to everybody in Washington County and tell you what to do. You know,
Sure.
you don't listen to everybody that comes along and tell you to do something. You know, we're responsible, the council is, for telling you or asking you to do something. You know,
Yes, sir.
we don't go and tell you, but you understand that? I mean, I maybe ain't making myself clear. Is that clear? I mean,
Yes, sir. Well, that's why I came here to talk to you
Yeah,
guys
right.
before
You
I
did
did
the
or
right
didn't do
thing.
anything.
You did the
because
right
I require clarity to be able to
Right.
operate this
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. And whoever said it a long time ago, the best way not to have a misunderstanding is to have an understanding.
Yeah,
yes, sir.
And I'm
Absolutely.
glad that you came. Next time I'm sitting in front of that window, you just look like a silhouette.
Yeah.
As to my mystique.
All right, thank you for coming, Brandon, and
Yes,
if
sir.
there's any way that any of us can help you, I know that we stand leaders.
Yeah, we sure will.
All right. Well, I appreciate you guys having me.
Thank
And
you.
just so we're clear, I'm good to go to roll those fundraisers, correct?
Any objections? No, you got that.
All right.
Do you have a date when you're gonna do the car wash?
Ma'am?
Do you have a date? on
Not
the
yet,
car wash?
not yet. We have been talking with Dixie from the Development Club. I think they want to, or at least she personally wants to contribute. But I also help run a football program. We've been doing free football clinics at behind the Old Town Hall in Vernon every other weekend. So
If you get us a flyer on it,
I will.
I'll
We
get it
will.
on our
I will.
website.
It will be very announced.
Okay. All right. Thank you for coming.
Thank you guys. I got a team probably showing up.
Okay.
All right, Madam Clerk.
Okay. Last month and at the workshop, Mr. Kevin Parker presented us an agreement for services with Wheeler and Associates. Should we need those services? Jefferson reviewed that agreement and he said it's good to go. It's just a standard agreement, you know. And that would be some backup for us should we be more technical than we know, you know. And it would help us down the road for, you know, Michael or other Michaels that might come through or anything comes through. We need to have something in place and to be able to get services.
I've read the contract, maybe we all have. I read the contract, and it seems pretty standard. I think Mr. Carter told us that the piggyback or the corporate agreement, or whatever we call this thing, was good to go. I have since talked to Mr. Parker, and he says that in that contract, those rates that he charges, that those will be rates that are payable out of the grant. It's not going to cost the city anything. It will be able to come out of the grant. So if he helps us with that, in other words, he's kind of like paying himself. I mean, the money's available to pay himself.
So like our CDBG grant, we pay administration, we
That's
pay
right.
engineer, we pay, the grant will pay them.
And there's no cost if we don't use it. Okay. Did everybody have a chance to look at it, or is there any questions we need to?
It's been about, I don't think I emailed, because I don't have Judy's and John's email. I think, did I send it to you, Carol? I don't have it down for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay, what's the pleasure of the council?
I make a motion, we accept it.
We have a motion to accept the Wheeler Associates contract. Is there a second? Have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? Have it, Mr. Carter?
Yes.
Mr. Carter? Yes. Chair votes yes. Mr. Forsyth?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Tim has requested if y'all will consider him going from 5 8-hour days to 4 10-hour days. I think especially during the summer, this will benefit us, and also we'll have two here at all times. You know, it's difficult for him to go out on a lawnmower and get broke down or get stuck or anything else, and nobody here to, you know. And I think we'd have a better employee at the 4 10-hour days.
You think it'd be the best thing?
Yes, sir. My personal opinion is, but now, you know, the decision is y'all's.
Does he get a,
Is that gonna be for him and Dallas?
It'll be good for him and Dallas on here and around, and under Rogers.
Yeah.
Roger's got something to report on Dallas.
I'm just, everybody express your opinion. I've never been in favor of 4-day weeks. Mark will tell you that, more than anybody else is about it.
But he's doing it.
Unless I was the recipient of being able to work 4 days, I like it then. When we have people who says, you're closed, I went down there to do business and the city hall was closed, or I needed something and they wasn't open to work, or things like that. That's gonna be out there. We can weather that. I mean, actually, you wind up with 1 hour more work because if he works 5 days, he takes off 5 hours for lunch. If he works 4 days, he takes off 4 hours for lunch. You get an extra hour of work out of him if you know, they all ways to look at this thing. But, so what's the pleasure of the council? The county does their people that way. It's working for years and years. And some of DOT, some DOT offices do that.
Well, how do you feel about staying 5 hours, 5 days a week? I mean, do we think we need employees on Friday?
There's no reason for an employee to be here on Friday. There's nothing open. Town's used to it. Tim does piddling work on Fridays, you know. I mean, there may come a time when the road starts coming through here, we can change, but that can change in any meeting, you know. You may need the office open 5 days a week when that road starts through here, but right now, everything's set to go. We have very little up here.
So
I was up
4
here
days a week don't work out, we can change it
Oh,
back.
you can always change it back.
5 days a week may not be a loss of cash where it takes it to work, but on Friday, it's a good day to wash the equipment, clean it up, grease it, get ready to go, have it ready on Monday morning, come in and need to work the first half of the day, get ready to go to work, you'll be ready to go to work when you get here. I'm not opposed to 4 days, I'm just saying, we need to look at everything and see if that's what.
Well, you know,
From the discussion, it sounds like that there's probably a lean toward 4 days, if that's the case, all we need is a motion.
I'll make a motion. I'll make that motion.
We have a motion that we allow Tim to go from, when will this begin?
We can't get in there. Let's go April 1. There's something like
First
that. You know, the
week-
time
the
sheet
first
could
full week
change.
of April.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that'd be like Monday the 4th or something.
Well, you know, the only, thing that I see in that, Roger Dale, everybody's about 4 to 4 days a week, yeah, that's where you can turn around, but, you
It saves
know,
fuel, electricity, whatever.
yeah, but if he's just by himself on Friday, I'm from the human standpoint, you're gonna sort of hide out or you ain't gonna do too doggone much, I mean.
You ain't got somebody there.
That's
You ain't got a
right.
partner.
You ain't got a partner to
drive.
Yeah, you ain't got,
That's
And if he
the
needs a
motivator.
purchase order, if he needs anything from the office is closed.
And I'll second that motion.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on the motion? How you vote, Mr. Carter?
Yes.
Ms. Wicks?
Yes.
Yeah. Chair votes for yes. Ms. Carter?
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Jones, has requested to move from 4 7-hour days to 3 8-hour days. The office would still be open the exact same amount of time that it's open now. I'm off on Mondays now. I work Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and she would work Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. There's still plenty of time for training, still plenty of time for everything. She's been retired for 2 years, and this has been tough on her. She'll do whatever y'all ask. She's satisfied here. She's learning the job. She's very good at what she does.
So what will the office hours then be?
Monday through Thursday, 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. Same as it is now.
So we get 28 hours from her now, we'll get 24 hours from her then.
Yeah.
And she'll work,
She's with
y'all will overlap.
2 days, yeah, 2 days a week. And she's the best learner of everything. She's took on to the water system. She's still having, a lot of questions, but she catches on, and she is excellent with the public.
I believe all that, I think it, but I'm wondering, with the two of you just having 2 days a week out of 5, are we freeing you up to do all the stuff that you wanted to do before you retired, and all the stuff that's some of it years behind and things like that?
Well, a lot of that she's doing. She's taking over doing the database for the cemetery. She's very good at stuff like that. She's doing the database for the cemetery. She does all the water. I haven't touched the water system unless the month comes in when she's gone to lunch or somewhere. Since she started her.
So you're still at, the only day we would lose you is on.
The same day now, yeah.
We ain't losing you on Monday because you're not here.
Yeah.
So we're gonna lose you on Friday because you're not doing the office Friday, you're gonna be doing,
No, we're on Friday.
Thursday, yeah.
Yeah. But, it's not anything that's earth shattering, I believe with 2
Enjoy
people.
her retirement, dude.
Mhm.
I don't blame her for it.
Yeah.
So the hours is gonna be what again?
Tuesday through Thursday.
Now that's gonna be your hours.
Yeah, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
And Monday through Wednesday. And then the hours will be 7 to
7 to 4.
4. Okay, what's the pleasure of the council?
I'll make a motion to accept that. Let's keep her happy.
She's very happy, she's very pleased.
We have a motion and a second that.
Who's second?
Mr. Walksnail. We have a motion and a second that Ms. Jones' hours be set to Monday through Wednesday from 7 to 4, 3 days, 8 hours a day. Any discussion on the motion? Have it, Ms. West?
Yes.
Mr. Walksnail? Chair votes yes. Ms. Carter?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. You have a request in your packet from Mr. Joy Nichols. I have you overlay here of that. To reclose the alley between, we have a little bit, it's between 3rd and 4th Avenue. We have a little bit right through where the Ward property was and a little bit up to, and the rest of it's already been closed in there. How that got missed when we closed, I don't know. But Robin is I'm gonna start our next week of researching our road closings and stuff. Because I think we've got some that we missed or hadn't been recorded or something, We got some cleanup we need to do in town. But Mr. Nichols would like us to consider that. He's bought all the ward property that the state, the residual from the state, and it goes right through the middle of that property our alley does. That little building that's sitting there, right here, is right in our alley.
And he owns the corner, and so that we make sure we don't landlock anybody in the back.
He owns the back too.
The next piece of property would be what we call the civil music property.
Yeah.
And that is owned by
The
the
Haddons,
same person who
yeah,
now owns
everything else there.
Charles Parsons Oklahoma. Okay. And behind Miss Betty Nichols is already closed. I don't know how half of an alley got closed.
I don't either, but it
Yeah,
did.
there's something.
Yeah, we missed something
There's something
there.
wrong.
We missed a legal or something there. It should have went from 3rd to 4th Avenue, because it's been closed all the way from
But see,
4th Avenue
if we
on.
don't, if we don't close it all the way through, you're gonna be closing on this end and closing on that end, it's gonna be open in the middle, but you can't get to the middle.
We need to close it off. And
If we don't close it, we need to close it all, but
And I talked to Mr. Haddon that owns that property over there, he's for that.
He thought it was already closed when he bought the property, but it's apparently not, Mr. Haddon did.
and the reason some of them are so unique is, and this is one of them, when you look at that square lot, everybody either faces that way or faces this way, and you're not landlocking anybody for the future. The only thing we do is give up places to run water and sewer lines if we ever needed to between a block, but we're not using them now, they're already running here, and so on. What's the pleasure of council?
I'll make a motion we close. Haddon?
Okay.
Begin the process.
Mr. Nichols has to pay for some advertising and some things like that, okay? And let's make sure, we run it by our attorney or something before we advertise, and make sure that we,
Did it all.
even if we have to redo the action to own out by Mr. Parks' place and things like that, let's make sure that that whole thing is closed all the way through for that. Okay, we have a motion or a second?
Second, we'll go ahead, no, I didn't know you was gonna say it.
Don't matter.
Carol.
Motion, second by Mrs. West. Any more discussion on the motion? How you vote, Ms. West?
Yes.
Yes. Chair votes yes, Ms. Carter?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, Madam Clerk?
Okay, you have in your packet a letter from the Economic Development Council. This is just for information this time. Mr. Everett will be down here to discuss. They're gonna revamp, it's, where's that, they're on here?
Yeah, I went home.
Okay.
All right.
Each municipality, they want a member now, they're gonna revamp the Economic Development Council, and they want to include everybody. But this was gonna include a price, which would be $2. And that, it's multiplied by our population by $2, and so, at the very most, we'd have about $200 in there.
Our population,
Yeah.
the last census was,
But he will be here to present this later too, but he just wanted to make y'all aware that they are looking to revamp the Economic Development Council.
I think Mrs. Palmer probably went to a few meetings. Mr. Park, you may have, when you first come on, did you go to economic development, or you did?
I did.
You did, okay. It lets the towns, it lets the communities and the industrial, commercial community, all have a stake, all have an opportunity to speak and things like that. And been long ago, we asked Mr. Everett to come down and help us to talk about how we might get an industry, something like that, and it's a good forum for them. I think after you went a couple of times, is that when you had your surgery or
Yeah, that's
some
when I
kind
had
of?
my back surgery.
And I got some letters, but we was having COVID and reconstruction, so I have not been to a meeting yet, but I told Nancy the other day that we need to make sure we had a representative, or I was gonna go to the next or something like that, but I think this come out after that, so we might need to wait until we hear him to decide what we
And I talked with
I
him.
think I think there could be some benefit in it. At least we'll have a voice on the table.
And I talked with him at Gaines Cafe, and his name was mentioned that he would like him to be elected as a representative for Wausau. Told him long ago,
I
it
think
was.
mayors do, but, and we can
That's
change
the mayor,
mayors,
yeah.
you know, that it doesn't necessarily mean that would always be mayors or something like that. So we don't need any action on this
No,
tonight.
sir, I know.
All right, anything else?
I got
One
this.
more thing?
No.
No? No one more thing tonight? It's a big one. Okay, Mr. Porter.
I don't have anything.
Okay, Mr. Walkertown.
No, sir, not that.
Ms. Carter.
No, I'm good.
Ms. Williams. Okay, Mr. Walkertown's gonna have a little bit, I'm gonna share it with you. Let me, before, the things that you have on your agenda, I'm not working, I got my little thing on here. She's already told me about, that cemetery thing there. EOC alert, I saw it in the minutes that we started that,
We ain't got with them yet to do that. I've been down, we've been busy, and they have been busy too. But I will get with Miss Lynn to see what we need to do to set that up.
now, don't abuse me, but here are, we asked for something again, and we just cutting hours, and we ain't getting stuff done.
Well, I tell you, yeah, I can't do nothing without
Well, why
that.
the computer down would have been a good time to drive out there and talk to her.
I was sitting on the phone with AT&T.
It's not that I don't stir anything up. All
I'll
right.
have you
You gonna
something
get-
by next meeting.
All right, EOC. Splash pad, electrical services.
Okay, the building, it's coming, we'll have that here within the next week or so, they'll be coming to put it out. They have almost got much to their hands benefit.
Yeah.
They have almost got all that padding off of it, and they're
That's
getting
great.
ready to paint it.
That's
We
great.
still are on track to open by Memorial Day. We're not gonna open by spring break, but it's a little cool for that
Yeah.
one.
That's good, that's good. Has everybody gone down and looked at the Boston Palace work that's going on down there?
I have.
Looks like a steeple now down there in front. Okay. Mr. Walksnam and I, Mr. Walksnam, primarily he's the leader. He asked me to go with him, and that's when I said he did have something that cut on under my name. But you want to tell him our meeting? You want me to tell them what we did?
You better, Dad, than I am. I can do it, but you better.
Well, we went down and Mr. Walksnam talked to the warden about our request for inmates, and we thought we should be there for 2 hours for a long time and come away with nothing. And we said, what would we like to know? Can we get inmates? He said, we got plenty of inmates. And then the other shoe dropped. We're gonna have to get a van or a four-door pickup or something that we can transport them from the prison here. They're not sending out inmate crews with DOC personnel anymore. The county gets theirs, they have to provide transportation and a supervisor. City chiefly gets some, same thing, and so on like that. So we'll have to provide a supervisor and and transportation. Now, they were familiar with Dallas from at the road department, and he's very acceptable to them, but because he has not been with an inmate crew in over a year, he has to take an 8-hour refresher course. He had to have that card, he'll have to take an 8-hour refresher course. It doesn't cost us anything, and he would be our supervisor. I have since talked to, that same day, we talked to Mr. Bush, and I have since gotten a return phone call from Mr. Massey, and the county may have a van for us that we can get for the transportation. What the warden said to us was, if we bring this back to the council and you want to pursue it, what we would need to do is write a letter on our letterhead requesting that we be permitted to work in DOC inmates in Wausau, and he recommended we they have to set a number, and he said that he recommended that for our community, that we would ask for 5. And any day we go down there, we don't need but 2 we can get to. We don't have to take 5 every day if we don't have enough for 5 to do. But we could get it up to 5 for like the day after fun day and you gotta clean up the whole town, or the day you mow the cemetery and you gotta trim the fence line and things like that. If you need 5, you need 3, but they have to have a number that they obligate to us. So, did I leave that in?
No, you did it excellent, you know, good.
Mr. Waltonham knows the warden in his family, and I had an uncle, and he's got an uncle that's a warden someplace else, don't he? Is that what he said? Larry?
Yeah.
Yes.
Who's the warden?
Do you remember Gary Hewitt? Is he a son?
Yeah.
Yeah. Gary Jr. Yes, sir.
Who's gonna provide all the equipment for them to do all this work?
We already have the equipment.
Right. And, are they gonna do all the surrounding roads and everything like this and keep the grass down and?
Okay.
That's why we're trying to get them. It's getting ahead, it's getting ahead of us.
The trash up there, that's up there where we live at, is just getting, could we get some signage to say, please take your trash home with you instead of throwing it on the road or something like this, because
They live
Fed Circle,
on Cora Lane.
Cora Lane.
on Core Lane, and it's just, you know, especially on Fed Circle, you know,
County sign show will probably make us.
I'll be with him.
that was just a suggestion, but you know, I've only been here for like 30 years, so.
Thank you. Okay. So do we want to pursue, do we want Margaret to write a letter of request to the warden and requesting up to 5 inmates to be, to do work in the city of Wausau?
Okay, you said Dallas is going to go to school to be certified to,
Yeah.
He's already
Yeah.
certified, he just got to
Let me,
refresh.
oh, okay.
if it's all right, Mr. Wolfham,
Yeah, you
go
can.
down and do the next thing too. We talked, you know, we talked about that here and all we talked about Dallas, but you know what, we never asked him. We never said, would you do this for us? Or, of course, as an employee, we say, this is what you're gonna do, and we can do it that way, but that's not. So we called Dallas, and Dallas is, he said he had the card, but he never supervised him. He was always nervous about him. But he said he would do it, but then there's a little caveat he went back with. He's working, what's he working at?
28.
4-7 hours. He would like to go to 4 10-hour days and work a full thing. That makes him eligible for insurance, but if he'll work those inmates and we get 4 more hours or 12 more hours out of him, that'll help us. So he said that yes, he would do that, but he'd like to go to 4 10-hour days. So him and Tim, him and Tim both now would work 4 10 hours a day. We'd have 40 hours out of each of them.
Him and Tim both would supervise them, right?
Tim would.
Do
They
what?
want to be certified.
He would be there.
Tim would supervise Dallas. Here's what you need to do, and then Dallas would take them and go off and do it.
Right.
And Tim would go over here and do whatever Tim does.
Right.
Yeah.
And later on, we might get Tim certified just to relieve Dallas at lunch, because this inmate guard will not be able, keep in mind, he's gonna get comp time every day, because he will not get lunch, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because you can't leave those inmates with somebody that's not card carrying, you know, and it might be that we send Tim to school to back up, you know, to let Dallas have a lunch or something, you know. We'll give him a little bread, rather than, now, the 10-hour days, it would be in his time frame to go pick them up and carry them home. Back, because they have to go back in like at 2:30, you know. But then he could take his lunch from 2:30 to 3:30 or 3 to 4, so.
Yeah. We need to think back, because comp time is an unfunded liability, and after a while, you get 200 hours of comp time, and he leaves, but pay off 200 hours. So, you know, if we don't do the 10 hours, the inmates might get to be in less of a bargain, because it's gonna take an hour to go down there and get them and come back. It's gonna take an hour to take them home and come back. So So there's 2 hours a day right there, that you're not getting reduction.
How many days a week can we get the inmates?
We can get them every day.
Oh,
4 days, yeah, if we want 4 days. That's what the county gets on 4 days.
Yeah. We could get them 5 if we stay at 5, but if we're gonna go to 4, they probably need to be uniform. We don't need one of those men altogether working probably. So his request is probably not unusual. It benefits him a little bit. The inmate, by having 5 people working instead of 1, we may get more production rather than losing some. I'm just looking at the clock, face of the clock now. It says that, but that's no hourly rate change. That's just more hours added to it. It's not giving him a raise as such. If we get them and in 30 or 60 days, we can tell the difference. We'll know whether the program's worth anything. We don't have to keep on getting them, but if we get them, there would be some improvement on the looks of our community and some things like that.
well, we can really use them in the summertime with the grass.
Oh, that's what I think too. Yeah. So what's the pleasure? Can we combine these in one motion if that's what we want to do, or you want 2 motions?
One of them follows me.
Okay, what's the pleasure of council?
I make a motion that we do it, that we hire the inmates and get Dallas to,
10 hours a day.
you know, 10 hours a day so he can work with them.
Okay,
I'll second it.
motion second. Any discussion on the motion?
Well, let's add to that motion, let's like do a probation. Can we do that, like for 3 months or 6 months? To see if it don't work out between Dallas and the inmates, we can just drop it, or is that
We can drop it.
understandable anyway?
Yeah, we know we can do it. That will put us in a little situation with Dallas because
Well, he's on
When-
probation anyway.
but in another 3 or 6 months he'll be off.
3 months to be off this.
Well, the 3 months, we don't know in 3 months whether he's gonna work or not.
Okay, because once we do that and he goes to a higher rate of pay, if we arbitrarily move that rate of pay, we can't arbitrarily move that rate of pay. He'd have to keep on working the first 40 hours a week, which wouldn't be bad, but still.
Since there's 2 maintenance outside, you can tell a difference in the town already, but they keep each other motivated, you know, they both work,
They feed on it, yeah.
they do good together.
One of our concerns was, and what this will help to do that, one of our concerns was on being together all the time. And this would let Dallas take his crew and go someplace and let Tim do his stuff and look at. And sometime in one of our workshops, we may want to come together with a list of things that we want them to do that we think is undone, and then they know what to do when they go
That's
out.
correct, yes.
So, yeah.
When's the next workshop? I'm
May
just running my
the
mind.
2nd Thursday in May.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. That's situation. Okay? All right, any other discussion on the motion? Hey, Mr. Carter?
Yes.
Mr. Moore? Yes. Mr. West?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. Okay, on your agenda, Willis and Drusilla Hagen garbage. That's my brother and sister-in-law, you both know, and got a call from her over the weekend, and Willis has been in hospital about 5 weeks now, and she was having problems with her garbage, and she wanted to know why she couldn't get it. They wouldn't come up there and get it, and she had to pay, because she quit paying if she wasn't gonna get the service, and I reminded her that she was getting the service that she paid for, which is curbside. And for them, curbside is on Memorial Drive. The problem is with his disability and now with hers, that she couldn't get it down there. And there is a provision that waste management can provide, what do you call it?
Backdoor service.
Backdoor service. And for individuals with disabilities. The county's got it in their contract as well. So I met with, she talked to Margaret. I get the sequence.
Yeah, she talked to me.
She talked to Margaret several times.
Waste management went up there, the road wasn't to their standards then. And she didn't notify me that, fix the road, so I
Well,
could take it back up there.
Well, they haven't. And that's what I told her. I said, they're not gonna bring that big truck up here because right where you back up, where you want to back up and turn around, it's very unlevel. When you get that garbage truck in there and it does this and rolls over, you got a problem. she has agreed to fix the road. I met with Mrs. Brunner from Waste Management. She went up there and she said, we can do, the driver said no. The driver said no. She come out and she said, we can do this. But we got a problem here. So I talked to Willis and Drusilla and told them that what had to be done there, there got to be some rock and some clay and some things like that to go in there. And the truck said, we'll come in, we'll make a swing behind Brandon's house, go back right up to the, just this side of that big tree, if y'all know where he lives up there. And she said, we'll back up to right there, which is as close as from me to Miss Robinson to where the, so they, you know, that's we got it on here because just the obvious that was my brother and it needed to be in the minutes that Mark was aware of it. Now you're aware of it, and it's not going to cost the town anything. And I told her when she called that she said, I know you're my brother-in-law and things like that, but I said, well, you get the same service as anybody else down the street would call if you call Mr. Mayor.
Is your garbage rate gonna go up? Are they gonna charge you for going up there and
No,
doing
no,
that?
they don't do that.
They don't do that? That's just,
So that's all, right?
That's
That's
taken.
good, that's good.
I almost asked more to take it off, but I think, no, it's, when you got it out in the open, nobody can guess or say, did you know they did this or something, okay? And the last thing is a report on the backhoe. I've actually called twice again today. Johnny Evans told me probably a week or 10 days ago that really backhoes was not part of what they were getting, changing out. They were doing some fleet changes, I think, on the dump trucks and on maybe some graders, but these backhoes were in pretty good shape. And what they were getting was some equipment that had, for these, mow trims, on the side of the road, up in the trees and stuff like that. But he said he would look, he said, I may have something that we can take yours back and let you have this one, so I haven't heard from him. I'm going to assume that if he has something for us, that Tim looks at, and we look at them like that, and they'll take this one back, and let us have that, and she wants to go ahead with that. I don't think we maybe you needed a report, but I don't think we had to bring that back. If he said, yeah, we got something, we will. And if Mr. Massey said, yeah, we got a van, we'll go ahead with that because we're going to do the inmates. Yes.
Barbara Rich.
Barbara Rich.
Right.
Yes, okay.
Like I said, I'm Barbara Rich, and I am a new resident of Wausau. Of course, my husband's been up here since the 90s.
Yeah.
I lived in Panama City from 75 until November of last year. I was the owner and operator of an automotive business. And then when I sold that, I worked for a construction company, and I was the CFO of that. Also, I was a member for several years on the Panama City Code Enforcement Board. So I just want to tell you, this is my first meeting here. I'm enjoying it and hope that I'll be back for several more. And if you need me for anything, Margaret knows how to get a hold of me. If I need a run for something, I'll do it.
Good.
I'm retired.
Thank you for meeting with us.
All right, thank you.
Welcome to Wausau.
All right, thank you.
She said something that made me think, code enforcement.
Washington County's advertising for a code, they have no person right now.
Yeah. I just had, would you, is it next month Mr. Quirk comes back?
It does.
Okay. Would you ask him please to be prepared to walk us through that, walk me through one more time, how we can have an ordinance that says thou shalt not, and if you do, it's going to cost you so much. And then why would we have it in our code of ordinances? Why would we have it in our minutes and in our records? Why would an attorney, and it wasn't Mr. Carter, why would any attorney let us adopt or draw us up an ordinance that we can't enforce? And if we were going to be part of the planning and code enforcement and building department of Washington County, why can't they enforce it for us? I'm not clear on that yet. Am I the only one?
I don't understand that.
I'll have it fully prepared for you.
And if it's got to be somebody has registered a complaint, then when the city registers a complaint, we not someplace, and we not say, here's, in our case, in most of our cases, the code enforcement violations for debris and trash and things like that. And, I just don't understand that yet. Is that all right if we ask him to do that the next time they come?
Yeah, because we don't understand ourselves.
Okay, I'll say on one, I'd call him and just let him talk to me, if y'all think we should know. Anybody else have anything from council tonight?